Jibran, it's very interesting that when we discussed this fireside chat, it was one very important thing. Now AI is hype, but we need to know that there is evolution of AI. It started, how many? 50 years ago in some sci-fi books. But after that, can you please talk about it first of all?
Sure. Hello, everyone, and first and foremost, yeah, thank you for having me around. I hope I'm audible till the back. As you said already, right? AI, there's a lot of discussion and a lot of hype and a lot of possibility. But in the very, very recent times, right? Just 1 year down the road, we were not having a lot of these discussions on the possibilities and future around AI. But people who come from computer science industry, they understand AI is there for almost last 67, 68 years now. And in 1956, it started off as a concept in a research paper presented for the very first time when it came that, okay, we'll have a technology like artificial intelligence. But the question could be, that, okay, it started maybe 60 plus years ago, and why we haven't seen a lot of progress? And the answer lies in the details, right, on the evolution of AI itself. So when AI started off, it was the initial days of the technology. And just like any other technology, it was not a stronger version of AI. If somebody has done maybe a degree in computer science 20, 30 years ago, they would have also read AI and used the tools. But those were the decision support systems and fact-based engines, right? You used to tell the system on the rules of the game, and then the system could probably perform like that. Whether you're talking about forecasting the weather under a certain conditions, you're asking the computer to play chess with human, these kind of scenarios were there, and we thought that probably this is the best use case we have. And fast forward the discussion to early 2000, right? This is where machines became more intelligent and machines started learning. So humans learn from their experiences. So you have a bad experience or a good experience, this will decide your future course of action. Machines learn from data, not experiences. And when humans made machines started to learn in supervised or unsupervised learning models or reinforcement learning models, this is where machines could predict. So for example, you're watching Netflix and it is giving you recommendations of similar titles you are interested in. This is based upon your previous choices, right? And this is reinforcement learning. You have got a machine which is trained on 100,000 patients' data over last 10 years. And today a new sample comes in, you pass it on to that machine, and machine will be able to classify and predict whether this patient is prone to diabetes or not. So machine learned on the data sets, and on the basis of new data coming in, it could reproduce and classify. This is where a stronger version of AI gets into an action. This is, I'm talking about early 2000s, 2003, 2004. Then you also move forward. When you talk about 2015 time frame, we come across with much more intelligence into the machines when computer vision was brought to the market and machines became more intelligent. So then today, machines could really understand and your picture and would tell your age, your sentiment, and who you are. Machines would, for example, take a text from Russian language and would understand, would translate it into the English language. Machines could detect, for example, if there is a cat or a dog in this room, they would easily predict there is an animal in this room. And this is where deep learning started off, where machines really started behaving like humans. They could understand, they could comprehend, but again, based upon the data. And this became a key technology in many intelligence systems. For example, deep learning is a key technology in driverless cars. And still the game wasn't based upon their
Talking about edtech, people afraid they will lose their jobs. But there is a polar opinions. I think there will be more of them with AI. How do you think?
Yep. Olga sitting in the room, and I was hearing this morning the session, and I wanted to share the same thing. That the estimates which are coming by different analyst organizations, independent, are that generative AI only will add $5 trillion to the overall GDP of the world. When you talk about the net new job creation, I've read multiple reports from leading analysts and World Economic Forum and in different other sort of authorities. They're predicting that the net new result of the jobs by the virtue of a technology like AI will be positive, will not be negative. So there'll be more employment opportunities coming up. But then you need to double click on this one. It's not really that easy that one can summarize by saying that, yeah, there'll be more jobs. You have to go through the history, the way humans have progressed from one industrial revolution to another industrial revolution, right? Early 1900s, we were in the first industrial revolution. Even in the market like US, early 1900s, New York was being moved by horses and carts. Horses and carts were the main mode of transportation in a city like New York, for example. 20 years down the road, 1920, there was no horse and no cart on the streets of New York. We were in the second industrial revolution, and they were replaced by motor cars, trains, and trams, and all sort of engine-related these kind of automobiles. Now, one can say that there were like thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who were employed, probably millions of people who were employed on this transportation business. What happened to them? New industries were formed, right? When cars came up, insurance industry, advertising industry, you talk about the manufacturing industry, you talk about the automobile repair industry, people getting employment as getting drivers of those cars and all these things. So more employment opportunities were added. Yes, there was an impact on certain jobs, but then there were new jobs and people probably acquired new skills and they went ahead. And fast forward, today we are in fourth industrial revolution, where probably today a lot of jobs which are published or which are there in the market, they were non-existent 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I never saw an advertisement that I need a social media manager. But today, every second company is putting that advertisement because social media was not there in action. So I think we have to keep our faith in the technology, in the process. There could be jobs which would be lost with the advent of automation, but also more new jobs will be created as well. That's my personal opinion on this.
Okay, great. Let's continue with our main topic, how AI transforms learning experience. But would be great if you will give us some specific cases, some examples.
Yeah. So AI in education, right? Education is also not an exception, right? Just like technology has got its impact on any sector, education sector is also somewhere the technology would have also an impact. So let's pick up a role of a teacher. There are many studies which tells us that between 30 to 40% of the time of a teacher that goes into administrative tasks, right? It is not being contributed to foster learning and innovation. So for example, if I'm a teacher and you give me access to a generative AI tool, which is making my life easier, it's saving me time. So it really means I become more productive and I take that time back to my classroom. Just one small example. Second is whenever I have a laptop and I visit any university or academic institution, they ask me about the power of AI. And I tell them that you may have any book which is digitized, it's available in the PDF format, and everybody has. I take that book and ChatGPT is also available in the enterprise model as well. I pick that book, I upload it to the ChatGPT enterprise, And then that book becomes really sort of an interactive, playful guide for students and teachers. They could just put these sort of commands and prompts to that book, just like you are doing online on the internet, on the global database. And this could really enhance the process of learning. A few quick examples, right? Personalized learning is a big topic. And there is a 2 sigma problem which was defined in 1800s. And this was all around that students, they need individual attention when it comes to personalized learning. And if they are given this individual attention, they would perform better. But today we don't have enough tutors and teachers to give individual attention to each and every student. So AI can also serve as a tutor in that particular environment. Accessibility and inclusion is something which is very close to all of us sitting in this room. And there's a beautiful AI tool called Immersive Reader. So if a student is unfortunately challenged with any reading ability, and for example, there's a student which is dyslexic, you take that content and you pass it on to that Immersive Reader tool built on AI, and it will transform. Very lastly on this particular one, what is needed is that while we use AI and put it to work in the classroom, there are multiple scenarios. And when somebody asks me, I run out of time. Why? Because today, if I ask this room, what can electricity do for you? Can you tell me in 10 examples or 20 examples? No. Electricity is moving the entire world today. Same would be the case with AI few years down the road. This is where we emphasize a lot on building skills and capabilities around AI.
Okay, great. So we are on the equator of our fireside chat. Very important question as official representative of Microsoft today on our forum. Of course, we need to know the plans of Microsoft and AI.
Yep.
Part of it maybe can be about education.
Right. So I can speak about the region I cover. And obviously there are global investments and partnerships which Microsoft has. For example, our partnership with OpenAI, I think that is bringing the groundbreaking innovation to the industry today, where Microsoft and OpenAI are partnering, and it's a global partnership which is working on 3 key pillars. One is obviously the idea is to empower each and everyone on the planet to achieve more with the help of these AI tools. On the other hand, we want to use technology for meaningful innovation. And the world needs a lot of technology-related interventions when it comes to AI to solve a lot of problems. You talk about accessibility, you talk about global climate change, fighting crime, and all these kind of things. We are putting that technology into meaningful innovation, and this is where we are fostering on partnerships with universities and other commercial organizations. And the last bit, which is very important on this partnership pillar, is that responsible use of artificial intelligence. This is a key because it has to be used under a certain framework. And this is where we have published these guidelines that the use of artificial intelligence in any system has to be responsible. And when you talk about the responsibility, it comes under multiple dimensions. You talk about that the technology should be transparent, it should take care of the privacy concerns, it should be reliable, it should be secure, there has to be a level of accountability, and all these kind of things. The second part is what exactly is there, which we are producing. So I would not go into a lot of product-related conversation, but 2 things which we are doing. One is that we have introduced a co-pilot mode with the products we have made. So for example, today people are using Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Teams. There's a co-pilot mode which is available. So in case this meeting is happening over Microsoft Teams today, you don't need translation services. It will automatically translate that. For example, if somebody is unable to attend this meeting, he or she would not only get the recording, but the recap of that meeting, for example. Or if there were any action items assigned to that particular person, that person would automatically get the notification. For example, to Microsoft PowerPoint, you go and tell, create me a presentation on this topic. It should have 10 slides. It should talk about this, this, this. These are the kind of graphics you need to use. It would spin up this kind of a presentation for you. So to make people more productive, we are putting this technology first in the platforms and the products we own and we develop. The second part is this technology is available for academia and commercial market as well. You can integrate these tools with your technology. So this OpenAI platform is available on Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform. And from there, you can use these models like Dolly, GPT, Codex to do whatever you want. So for example, if there's an organization, there are developers working in this organization. And for example, if they use the Codex model, so it can automatically write codes for the developers. Or for example, as I said that, you have got a certain system running in the organization. There is an airline company. There's a system running. You can integrate that system with GPT model, and this system could become more smart and interactive and would help people. So these are the areas on which we are working these days.
Okay, great. There is very important thing when we're talking about AI and education. Local languages. What can you tell us about Kazakh, Uzbek, Kyrgyz, Tajik, and others?
Yep. And the first is the realization, right? Realization of the need is very well there. And even we were having this discussion yesterday, myself and my colleague Dania are in the office. There are a lot of requests which are already there with us from the Ministry of Education and other stakeholders in the region. I fully understand that if a local language is preferred, then we must work around that to make sure it should become part of the solutions and the products. Some work has already been done on that one. So for example, if you use Windows and Office today, which is very popular, and we pick up the example of Kazakh language for that matter, just one example. So this Kazakh language interface pack, it is already released, it is already there, you can use it. Or for example, we talk about the AI services. I spoke about this translation services, right? So Kazakh language and many other local regional languages, there are almost 200 languages which are supported today. And when you talk about the Azure AI translation services, these languages are there. I would not make a claim and say that 100% of the localization work has been done, but we are in the middle of that process, and we are working closely with our engineering teams and product groups by making sure the feedback which we are getting from the field, from different markets, that has been shared accordingly.
Very interesting that in the last question we started with the evolution of AI, and I want to end this fireside chat with short and medium term forecast for the future of AI from your side. Thank you.
Well, I'm not a big fan of giving future predictions, but the little I learned back in a few days, I think few things are happening, right? When you read on different articles and news, two things are happening. These generative AI models based on large language models, they are there. And at times we are not finding them 100% accurate. And nobody ever claimed that they would be 100% accurate. So there is an element of a human reinforced learning feedback, RFHL. There's this kind of a concept available. So humans are making these models because it's humans who created this technology. And there are scientists who are running this technology. So with the help of human reinforced learning, we are trying to make these models smarter so that their prediction and accuracy should be much better. The second is I also saw some researchers working on the models where model is learning from itself, right? So model is making mistakes today, but then you are coaching back to the model that you make this mistake and you need to relearn on a certain thing. So model is applying that, and probably tomorrow model is not making that mistake. The third one is on the synthetic data, which I also came across as a trend, where today these models are learning on the data sets which are already acquired or globally available, and they are generated by humans, right? But tomorrow the models could also learn on the basis of the data which were generated by these model itself. So imagine ChatGPT generated certain data, and there is a new model which is learning itself from the data which is generated by ChatGPT, for that matter. The way I understand this equation today is that we need to develop a better understanding of this technology. This is the first part. The second part is now we are heading into the fifth industrial revolution. In the fifth industrial revolution, so fourth industrial revolution where we are, it was all about that every company is a software company. Every business, whether it's entertainment, education, healthcare, banking, it will be digitized. It will be running on technology. Fifth industrial revolution is that technology is already there. Humans are already there. How can humans and technology collaborate in a better way so that they could understand each other in a much better way and can deliver productive results? So this is where I can see in next 3 to 4 years, human and technology interaction and collaboration and understanding each other would become far more relevant.
Thank you so much. We had the idea to make a Q&A session like here on the fields of the forum, because today we are very tight schedule. We need to think about timelines. So guys, audience, if you have questions to our special forum guest, Mr. Jibran Jamshad, Microsoft Education Lead in CIS, please do not hesitate to contact him. I mean, right now, here, personally, because he approved it. Let's give him the applause, please. Thank you very much for this fireside chat.